gonna step in front of you.
You're fine. Oh, it's Horton.
I love me some Dr. Seuss too.
Yeah.
So what I wrote was, Chelsea, the owner of the bookstore, you are and always was an angel. I want to be a better person, kinder, more loving, and more like you. And I will. What a dear you are. Thank you.
That's sweet.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, she was really sweet. You know.
She'll be here. Oh,
Her parents?
her parents.
Okay.
Yeah, her sister, her father, and her sister are on the board. Just we're doing all volunteer, not for profit. They're going to be here on the 18th and 19th of March. Supposedly.
Is there a reason why this is in the Dr. Seuss Horton's book?
I think that was an important book to her when she was a little kid.
I feel like it probably had a story behind
And
it.
her parents picked it.
I don't even I don't have a subject or anything.
We could just walk around.
Always down for religious books. I don't know why, like, even though I kind of feel like the search is over spiritually, I still like reading spiritual stuff. I still like seeing different point of views and stuff.
Is there a certain religion that you're drawn towards specifically?
No. I do want to learn more about Islam.
Yeah.
I do. Only because I know there are...
In Search of Adam will be $6.50.
Okay. That's not bad.
Actually, last time I was here, I think... No, that was at a thrift store. I picked up a book about Islam. And you know I come from a Christian background.
I do know that. Yes.
So I've always wanted to kind of like get into Islam because I want to see the connections with Ishmael and like Islam and what I know and stuff. I never really even read the Quran. So I want to see the historical like parallels with that.
The stories are pretty similar.
Yeah.
Just the times they were created, the books were like later, right? For us, Islam is about 1400 something years. So it's like a version of the Arab version in 1400 years ago.
So the Quran was before the Bible?
After.
After Bible.
After. Okay. So we say it's like we agree with what was written in the Bible and the Torah, and we say there was
Moms will be $5.25, so that's $11.75, I think.
Okay, great. We'll take it. Thank you.
The Torah. What's the Torah?
For Jewish folks, that's their their book.
Okay.
So I think even like Adam in the beginning, I think they mentioned
in the Torah.
Yes. So and then I think that's the Old Testament, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong. I don't know. We can ask
What are
him.
you trying to think of?
Isn't Adam originally from the Torah, like from religiously?
I mean, Genesis, right?
Right.
Adam
So
means man.
what's that?
It means man.
Man, yeah. So in the beginning, before the Bible, you'd say the Torah would have him.
Well, Genesis.
That's Genesis, right? Yeah. So Jewish folks recognize him in the beginning, right? And then it became
as the
like,
first man, Adam.
Would you say?
I mean, if you were very, 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 very
specific,
conservative, I mean, they believe in evolutionary theory. Most people, right?
Right.
As far as literature, like on books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
In Genesis, in the beginning of Genesis,
Okay.
there are two creation stories.
Yes.
Contradict each other.
Basically, the Torah is. He was saying basically the Torah is like the Old Testament.
No.
It's
The
not.
first 5 books.
It's the
First 5 books?
Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm wrong then. Okay.
Well, you're not. It's
The
the first
word
5
means-
books of the
word
Old
means-
Testament, so you
The word
partially
means
right.
the law. And then you have also the prophets, and the histories,
Mhm.
and the Psalms, and the Proverbs. Those are technically not part of Torah, but they are part of the Hebrew Scriptures.
Which kind of makes sense because a lot of those are just like you said, the laws and chronicles and stuff like that. And so
That's another one, Chronicles, yes. It's one of the histories. You have the Bible downstairs, including Jewish ones,
Oh, you do? Okay.
because they're all different, you know.
Different versions.
Yeah,
Yes.
Bibles are different than
Yeah.
Protestant Bibles. Jehovah's Witnesses Bibles are different than other Protestant Bibles. Mormons are even more different.
So I guess they have the religion, spirituality in a different section.
there's a Gita I've never seen before.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
familiar with the Gita.
Bhagavad, yeah.
I listen to that often, a lot more. I used to listen to that Ashrakava Gita. I've listened to that often too. I've never seen this one before though. They got the Bhagavad Gita right there.
Yes.
Now, what's this one about? Lord Sri Krishna is factually the spiritual master of the 3 worlds, and he is the original source of all Vedic knowledge. It is very difficult, however, to understand the personal feature and the absolute truth, even from the Vedas. His personal instructions are needed in order to understand the personality of Godhead as the supreme absolute truth. The Bhagavad Gita is the evidence of such transcendental knowledge and gist. One cannot know the Supreme Lord unless one is graced by the Lord himself. Lord Krishna exhibited this specific mercy towards Arjuna and Yudhavada while he was in the material world. Undoubtedly, Bhagavad Gita was spoken by the Lord on the battlefield of, I'm not even about to butcher that, just to encourage Arjuna to fight and yet to complete the transcendental knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. The Lord instructed, not butchering that, but it's Uddhava. The Lord wanted Uddhava to fulfill his mission and disseminate knowledge that he had not spoken even in Bhagavad Gita. So, one of the people that I study pointed to Lord Krishna, just kind of said that he was kind of like a naughty god or whatever. And I was like, that'll have to be the god for me, because you know I got some naughty ways.
I don't know much about Krishna,
Well,
except that he has a flute and that's
blue.
yes, that's much I know.
Me
Yeah,
either.
yeah.
But I do know that he was like a naughty god.
Oh, okay.
And he was like a naughty kid or whatever. And well, I keep it real with you. My master had told me that in the Hindu tradition they have a lot of gods, and it's like a god
Yes.
for like everybody.
Yes.
And I was like, Lord Krishna would have to be like my god, the naughty one, because I gotta get away with stuff.
I think he was known for being like mischievous.
Mischievous, yeah,
That's the word. Yes.
uh-huh. That's why I say naughty. It's actually a cartoon I saw on YouTube. It was pretty dope about Krishna. I kind of want to read this. Oh, this hasn't even been opened. You remember Dean that used to work across the street, right?
Who?
Dean.
Dean? Oh yeah. My dad remembers him
Yeah,
too.
so he's gone.
Where? To Sri Lanka?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think he went back to Sri Lanka, but I know he's gone.
Oh, okay.
I went there the other day to, say hi or whatever, and he said he's been gone for like months, and I had no clue.
Oh, maybe my dad knows. I don't know.
So Dean is another reason why I'm actually interested in Islam too, along with you.
Yeah.
Both of y'all You know, I think the world of you, of course, and I think the world of Dean too. And he's just like, it's something internally with him. So it was something internally with Dean, and I made a connection with y'all in Islam and stuff like that. And then both y'all from Sri Lanka too.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like made me want to get into Islam and see if there were some traits that y'all developed, that y'all learned from Islam.
You know, Islam is complex, just like any religion, right? So it depends on the person. Like me, my version might look very different than Dean's. There are some people who prays 5 times a day. Some prays once a week. Some whenever they feel like it. For me, it's more a spiritual connection. That's where my root. It's more of a. I'd say I'm more culturally Muslim than I'd say more than on the books, right? Because I remember it as being like part of my childhood, like the syrup, like Eid, you know, it's like Christmas for y'all. So that's how I remember it. So it's like a very fond cultural meaning to me when it comes to Islam. So if you ask me to quote from a certain verse, I can't like tell you, oh, you know, for this, read this. But I know certain things that are like ingrained in my head. But I'm not like, I wouldn't read it. I wouldn't say I read it. I've read it, but there are some people who's like Hafiz. That means you know the Quran from front to back, and you can like quote it anytime, and they live a certain life. It's like kind of like a monk, but it's not a monk because you don't become a monk in Islam. But it's like very more, I'd say, orthodox, and they're more with the what's forbidden and what's not. Like they go into details about that. I am more just like my mom and dad, so I'm like a version of that. So like my grandfather, right? Like on my mom's side, he was, I'd say he was more culturally Muslim than religiously. He'd pray once a week, but he'd make sure like he goes to work and he's very disciplined, and he'd get everything that the world needs him to do. He got it done, and I think that's his way of serving God, because there's only so much time you have on earth. So he took care of his children. He went, you know, he had a good life. But on the other hand, like my dad's dad, I didn't get to know him much. I never met him. He passed away before I met him. And he actually passed away in Mecca, where we prayed to. He wasn't buried there, but like around in that area. So he passed away in that spiritual place.
What was he doing in the area? He
Because
lived around there?
no, you go to pilgrimage.
He died during pilgrimage.
Yes, he died during pilgrimage. Yeah.
Did he make it?
I mean, he's done it many times.
Oh, okay.
So people who do, like on my dad's side of the family, most of them like do it like on, like even if you've done it, you technically only supposed to do it like if you can afford it, you do it once in your life.
Yeah.
But they just like the feeling, you know, so they just go back because they're they're more into it. Yeah. So he passed away, so I never got to see him. But yeah, he also had a good life. I don't think he was also too religious, but towards the end of the life, you know, like that's something that you did back in the day, maybe even now. Like you just spiritually transitioned to the next world. So that was part of like connecting with your creator. Yeah.
You know, when you were talking, I was thinking about how the United States is so rooted in Christianity, like our laws and everything. One nation under God, Christian God. They don't say that, but that's what they mean, right? And I wonder how that must be for you.
I don't feel very bad because like when I grew up in Malaysia, it had the same vibe towards other religions. So it's like Islam was the supreme religion, right?
That's what I was thinking.
So
right?
I felt like, oh, this is how it must have felt for someone who was like Hindu or Christian growing up in, because I saw that, you know, firsthand. I saw that they didn't have even an immigrant, right? Even being a Sri Lankan in Malaysia was different. Even if I worshiped the same God, I wasn't treated the same way.
You're the minority.
Yeah. So it's like being white and Christian, being black and Christian. Right. It's a different. Right. You guys have a different church.
I couldn't imagine being in some place that Christianity wasn't the primary religion. I couldn't imagine because that's all I know.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't even imagine. Like when I hear things and
different.
extremists from other religions and stuff like that, and the regions that they stay in and their laws and all that different kind of stuff, I couldn't imagine because I'm so conditioned of the American Christian God type of way and how to be and all that different kind of stuff.
In that sense, I would say like there's more. It's more. I didn't feel like I don't feel kind of like suffocated to Christianity or anything like when I'm in America because it's pretty much it's more lenient.
You know what? It is lenient, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but I want you to know something. I think your experience is a hell of a lot different than a lot of other people because you are in Chicago.
Ah, yes. I didn't grow up in the South or anywhere else. Yes,
you grew up in the most, arguably, but in my experience, the most liberal. I think Chicago is even more liberal than New York. Huh. And I think people are more safe here when it comes down to certain issues in New York. You know, I live here, so that's my experience. And I lived in New York, and I actually think that you are more safe here in Chicago by far, contrary to what people see on the news and being Murder City or whatever. By far, that depends on what area you're in. If you're about that life, you're going to have that life. But if you're not, you're safe. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not safe, they're going to protest to make sure you are safe for the next person. I mean, in Chicago, it's a different experience when it comes down to religion and sexual orientation. And I mean, it's like actually the best experience that you can have. That's why you have all these people that migrated to Chicago so they can live.
There's a reason why I'm
and be in a bookstore
here.
like how we are talking.
There's a reason why I'm still here, right? Like because I talk.
And it's the reason why I always came back.
Because whenever I think of I need to move out of here, I think of you, right? Because I know you've traveled and you've born here, and you're not the type of person who is like, oh, I'm comfortable, I just want to be here. So you're someone who just like goes out there. So it's like he always came back here. Like there's something that I get it.
I want to make it very clear to you. I always came back here because, and this is not in no kind of specific order, but I came back here because the public transportation is good. With that being said, you don't need a car to go back and forth to work, right? So if you don't have that, you still can have a decent job. The minimum wage is great here. So you can be basically, not that anything is wrong with this, but you can be basically work at a McDonald's and still live pretty comfortably, depending on like, you know, your dependents and all that different kind of situation. So, and then to be queer here is like fashionable. Like, seriously, I mean, to be queer here is like cool. Like, if you're not queer, you actually get side-eye. Like, you're straight. Like,
you get looked. I mean, at least a lot of folks here are intellectual. Like,
it's almost like I almost feel like even though we need opportunities, and I'm actually saying this more like on a comedic level, but I feel like queer people ostracize like hetero people sometimes because they will give us stuff a lot more faster in a lot of situations, much more than they would give somebody a hetero opportunity, which is great.
Yes,
which is
Chicago,
great. Which is great. But I could see like easily like them picking over a gay person or a straight person just because. And I don't know what to say about that, but I'm cool because
so that's
I'm cool with it.
Do you see yourself here?
What you mean?
In Chicago.
Like long term?
Yeah.
I see myself doing what I kind of have in mind, how things are. With that being said, I see myself being close to Chicago, if not always being in Chicago, like with the house and stuff like that. Being able to come here and experience different things like the museums, and if I want to go to a game, even if I don't want to do it, to know that I'm close to it, that I can do it, that's cool. And then to be out in the country and away from it, because I have to say, like, we've been talking a lot of positive stuff about Chicago, but there's some things here that I don't like. I mean,
every city has it, right? I don't know until I go to another city. I'm sure I could come up with.
Dude, let me tell you. So, like, when I'm out in Indiana, cool, peaceful, calm, quiet. Soon as I get on the highway, as soon as I get on the turn on the highway, the main highway to go to Chicago, the driving is immediately different. They want to cut in front of you, and it's just
Yes, I know.
I don't, and I'm only like 20 minutes from the city at that point. I'm just like, it's a big difference. Like, as soon as I make that curve.
For the Dan Ryan?
No, so like, you know, when you're going like towards like 65
Okay.
and like Torrance and all that.
Uh-huh.
So as you make that curve when you're going like to the Dan Ryan, like 135th and stuff like that, that's when they start driving crazy, want to cut in front of you and everything like that. I'm just like, I want to make a U-turn, so. And I don't like that. When I was younger, it was cool, you know, the rushing and cut through traffic and stuff like that. My anxiety level as I got older has really heightened.
Thought it was just me, so I guess there's.
Maybe no, it's just I don't know, just an older thing. We just getting old.
That's why I'm online most of the time, you know, because I just feel safer in my bubble, if you want to call it a bubble.
That's why I'm glad we got this bookstore like right across the street. I feel like I want to get out, woo, meet people, all right, then go back home when I'm safe. I gotta run across the street.
But I would say Chicago, because I've been driving, right? Like for the past, I'd say safer than when I first got here, at least, you know. So that's why I'm here still, because I feel, apart from whatever I hear, but when I look at the news, I feel like there's worse things going on in other cities.
That's why I don't even look at it. I be so disconnected sometimes, and I'm so cool with that. Like by choice, by design, disconnect me. Like I don't know, and it doesn't serve me. There's always gonna be a headline.
Yeah.
There's always gonna be a headline, and I don't mean to be. I'm gonna keep it really real with you. I don't mean to be like disconnected, but I do mean to be disconnected.
That's good.
I just don't want to tell nobody.
Why not? Why wouldn't you?
It's just something that I just don't. I mean, I don't really mind admitting that to nobody, but it just feel like just something that you probably should keep to yourself. You know, instead of me telling people that I really don't care or whatever. You know,
It's not caring, but it's just.
I don't mind because I care. I don't mind.
See, like
it.
I struggle with that, right? Because not like with YouTube, right? Like once I've gone down this rabbit hole with like YouTube or having, because there is the sense of something that it brings to me. Like for me, I'm not in Sri Lanka, so I get to like show them around, you know, like introduce CJ today, but sometimes I want to like disconnect. I can't do it because now by default, like, you know, I'm like, oh, I need to like keep up with these folks, you know, so I can't do what you're doing because you're not creating things like this. So in that sense, I think you're in a good place, like where you get to like, oh, I disconnect. You're not responsible for these things.
Yeah.
That's why I came to meet you and record you today. So I'll get some of your peace of mind.
Yeah. A part of the disconnected thing, I want to tell you is that I just like being quiet. I feel like that's when I'm my most genuine self.
Yeah.
Keeping it really honest with you, all my life I wanted to be an earnest person. I don't want to put on a mask with nobody. I don't want to be a certain type of way. I just want to be earnest. Like Chelsea, who we just were talking about, who used to own your store. She just seemed like a genuinely earnest, good person. Just kind of come off and that light kind of just shine inward, outward. And I want to always kind of be like a person like that. I don't feel like I'm that person until I'm quiet by myself, you know, or maybe when I'm with you or something like that. And maybe it's such an effortless thing that I don't even see it at that time, but that's a lot of reason why I like being by myself, is because I feel like I'm always constantly putting on a mask for somebody. I'm not as earnest with somebody, and I feel like
I don't feel you're like that though. I will be honest with you. You're like,
well, you are the exception.
oh,
Because, right, you and like DJ and people I consider family, it's not like that. But if I'm going out and I'm dealing with people on a daily basis, I feel like, I don't know, and it might be a black thing, you know, like, I feel like I have to like receive myself because I don't want to be intimidated. It might be just in my mind, you know, or whatever the case may be. But to alleviate whatever it might be or whatever, I'm safe and sound in my quiet little so I ain't even got to figure out what it is. So I can just sit and, you know, just be quiet, you know.
how do you feel making this with like recording this and possibly having it. I mean, I just have a small base of people. It's just like people that that's
Well,
my own channel. So
It's you.
Yeah.
So, and I know it's something you want to do. So it's cool. But
well, the reason I wanted to record this, like, because sometimes, you know, when I'm online or whatever, I tend to forget that I have people, right? Like, consider, like, I'm far away from Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is not even what I remembered it to be.
Right.
I'm a different version. I've become a different person. A lot of times when I talk to folks back home, they don't even, I think they tend to see me as that younger version that is not Adam. And they tend to like talk to me in that manner. And so I have that disconnect where like, I want y'all to see my life. Like, I have friends here. I have people that have become part of my story and my existence. So that's why it was important, because you and I, like, we worked at a time and we've grown, we've gone separate ways, and then to still keep in touch and still have you in my life, like, I wanted to, like, capture that. That's it. Not for anything, but I just wanted to capture you as a human in my life and someone who's important. I see you outside, but it's like, what if everybody knew? Maybe they, you know, I have a life outside, and maybe just for my own sake, I want to look at it and be like, oh, there's CJ in my YouTube channel. Then I could like kind of go out of it and be like, oh, you know, today I could go to a bookstore. I don't have to be online.
no,
Yeah.
I can't articulate it, but I can totally get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it. And it's kind of like me and DJ talk about our relationship, how we don't have to necessarily say things to kind of like know what we mean or whatever, or even I have to say something to describe where I'm coming from or why I am the way that I am. I felt that you felt that type of way. That's why I would text you out of the blue what's going on. Or even when I told you, like, I've been wanting to come here with you because I knew that you would like something like this. Or like how you just were saying, I can reference this to know that I can go to a bookstore. I know that, okay, let me bring him here so he can come here. And once he come here, he'll probably want to come here all the time. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of got that with you a little bit. Does that make sense?
You know, it's you know, I don't want to use the word, you know, you know the term influence, there's good influence, right? That's what I'm trying to say. With friends, there's good influence and there's bad influence. Like, you've been a good influence in my life.
Same.
You've been a good friend. Like, you've only told me, like, good stuff. Like, even the books, you talk about God, spirituality, like, things that, you know, I could need more of, right? So,
I see the exact same way.
yeah, so when I, you know, like the other day, whenever I see you, it's just like, it's just, like I said, it's a good feeling, and I just want to capture that. And we're in a bookstore, so, and I learned about Chelsea. So thank you for letting me record you.
Yeah.
You know, because I just want to because there's my mom and dad there, there's Summer, and whoever I capture, you know, whenever they come to
What's the
visit.
diversity?
No, it's not the diversity.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Well, I need to find a white person soon. I think you're the first, like, friend that I'm recording for my YouTube channel, like an authentic person. I never, because I don't really, I mean, I'm selective too. I don't just ask people to be part of it. But I wanted to get, just in case, I just wanted to capture you since I have this time. And yeah, so this is good.
We can do as much as you want to. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
If you don't even have to explain. You know,
Okay.
I'm cool with it.
I'll have you show around the downstairs.
You can give it to, I told you I don't.
Okay. There we go.
So this was the door to go to the coffee shop next door.
Oh, okay. So there used to be a coffee shop, and I guess, is she here? Chelsea? No.
No, she's not here. These are just pictures of guest customers and stuff. She looks familiar. He did too.
It's got a baby version of I Can Do It.
Oh, it's cute.
that term, I can do it. Is it from the 60s or something?
I don't. Which one? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That's for like the women's rights movement, the feminist movement.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. The ceilings are short. They're not too short, y'all. I'm 6'6".
Yeah. Standing next to you, now I guess they know how tall I am. All this while, my YouTube.
And then I still was trying to angle myself a little
You
bit.
just told them how tall you are. You should have been like, I'm 7 foot.
Chronicles of Narnia.
Have you seen that movie? I still haven't seen that movie.
What?
No, I know.
You want to go to the house and watch it right now?
Isn't that like a series though?
Yeah. Okay, so C.S. Lewis. Are you familiar with C.S. Lewis?
Sounds familiar. Who is?
Are you familiar with Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
Okay, so C.S. Lewis and what is his name? Tolkien? J.R. Tolkien? What is it?
Yeah,
I knew he was gonna know it. I saw you look on. He's gonna get it. J.R. Tolkien. They actually went to Oxford together.
Oh wow.
And they had like a little society, like little like. I don't want to make it too big of a thing, but they had like a club where they would talk about like literature and things of the world and stuff like that. And C.S. Lewis actually was like super religious. Super religious. Yeah. He actually got like some BBC like radio like stuff from back in the day where they actually was talking about God and spirituality and stuff like that. He has some really famous spiritual books that aren't so famous, like the Chronicles of Narnia and stuff like that, like the Screw Tape Letters and all that different kind of stuff. I started getting into his spiritual stuff more when I was locked up. But yeah, and I just thought that you would find that
Yeah. So he wrote that book?
C.S. Lewis?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know.
He wrote the Chronicles of Narnia.
Is
and
he
the
American?
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is like
Yeah,
the Chronicles.
that I remember.
That's part of the Chronicles of Narnia.
Aslan,
That's
right?
the first book of the Chronicles of Narnia. Is the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
The Lion's Aslan, right? Aslan, yeah.
Aslan.
I remember that part. I just didn't watch the entire thing.
Did you watch the Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe?
I think I skipped parts of it. I was a kid.
We doing that.
I don't know if I want to sit through it right now.
I mean, we don't gotta do it right now, but we're doing it, okay? We're doing it. And they actually got like an older version that's pretty legit too.
Oh, they got an older version.
So I seen the older version when I was like in 4th or 5th grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, they got little shoes and everything here. I think they put in shoes to make it. I don't think it came with that way.
Right. You thought that we would have saw the brown elephant? I was watching that movie with you.
What movie?
The one that they took down. The one that's like Forrest Gump.
What?
You said it was a version of, it was kind of like a version of Forrest
Oh,
Gump.
yeah, it's the Hindi version.
Right,
yeah.
and I was watching it with you, and then remember you said in the group text that they took it down?
Yes.
Which made perfect sense. You said you're watching the whole movie free online. I was like, oh, that checks a little bit, because I surely was watching it,
Oh, and then it went off?
and then it went off.
Oh, okay. Probably have to find you another website or link.
I don't know if I should be saying this, but that was a Hindi movie, right?
Yes.
Why are all the Hindi actors fine like that?
Because they specifically look for that certain, so it's very in Bollywood it's very aesthetic, at least till like the recent, I think with recent years and the pandemic and everything it changed, but Bollywood has been very aesthetic. So when you look at Bollywood actors, they don't look like the typical Indian person that you see down the street, right? Because that's not how a typical person, so they specifically cast people with fairer skin color, have a certain yes, so they're very, it's not very progressive in that sense. So that's why with the recent years it's been like you'd see a flux of new actors and actresses who are from different shades of color, skin,
For real?
and from different parts of India. Because normally they'd only cast people from like certain, like if they're connected with like most of the famous ones are like either sons or daughters or uncles or nephews of somebody who's in the film industry. So it's mostly nepotism based. So that's why you know, but
That sound like old Hollywood.
that
Old
oh
Hollywood-
yeah, yeah
Old
oh,
Hollywood's like that.
oh really? I didn't know
Uh-huh.
that. Oh, okay.
Everybody in old Hollywood, their parents were Hollywood stars or something.
Oh.
Like Liza Minnelli.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, her mom was Judy Garland.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh.
Liza Minnelli's mom was Judy Garland. So, but that was like a thing in old Hollywood. Like the kids, they
Yeah.
passed the torch. You know.
Okay.
So like, yeah, it's almost like
So it was like that.
exactly because
Yeah,
you see
yeah,
that they had
yeah.
the perfect aesthetic
Yeah.
and they had the perfect look and the pale
Yeah.
skin and all
Yeah,
that different kind of
yes.
stuff.
So
It wasn't even that great to be a redhead at one point. You know.
that's what I heard.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they didn't even clock that a lot of people were redheads because it was black and white. You know, a lot of the movies back then. So,
But
wow.
yeah, so
No
that
wonder they so fine. Everybody fine. Men, the women, I was like, they are beautiful. But even the extras.
oh okay. Well then you just that's just you as a person. You
Okay.
see everybody. You're a good human being.
Fix them up.
All right.
You got over here and stuff already too?
I think we got those. Yeah. We'll go get the book.
Customers, so it's going to take a second to find itself.
Take your time. Should we get your mom and dad something over here?
No, they don't really read. So
Magazines? Coffee table book?
they have a lot of books from the building they're in. They got more than enough. Thank you though for asking.
It comes to $12.95 with the taxes.
Okay. So you asked me did I buy some books here before?
Uh-huh.
I bought 3 journals here that I filled up.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you write like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, I am going to make sure I put a note in my journals to
Try to bring in more people. I have to go to
She used to sell art here. She used to have people artwork here.
Uh-huh.
And she's you still do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Eric.
Take care. Thank you guys.
Thank you. We'll send more people in here.
I'm so glad.
Thank you.